The day my sister stole my daughter, I was lying in a hospital bed, still bleeding from the emergency C-section that had saved both our lives. My name is Ruby, and I'm about to tell you how my own family destroyed me, and how I spent 10 years planning my revenge. Ruby, we need to talk. My mother Alice swept into the recovery room like she owned the place, my father Troy shuffling behind her. My sister Layla sat in the corner chair, cradling the baby. My baby. The papers, I whispered, throat raw from the breathing tube. Layla needs to sign the surrogacy papers. Silence. The kind that makes your skin crawl. About that, Alice said, smoothing her perfect hair. We've been discussing the situation. What situation? I tried to sit up, pain shooting through my abdomen. She's my daughter. My egg, my embryo. Layla was just the surrogate, Layla finished, her voice barely audible. I know what I was supposed to be. Then sign the damn papers. Alice moved closer to my bed. Honey, you're not thinking clearly. You're single. You work 80-hour weeks. You travel constantly for that little startup of yours. My biotech company is not a little startup. And Layla is married. She has a stable home with Jace. She's been carrying this baby for 9 months, bonding with her, because I asked her to. The heart monitor started beeping faster. Because I trusted her. Layla finally looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Ruby, I can't. I can't give her up. She's mine now. The room spun. She's not yours. She's genetically mine. We have a contract. Contracts can be broken, Troy said quietly. It was the first time he'd spoken since entering the room. You're supporting this? I stared at my father in disbelief. You're actually supporting this? Alice sat on the edge of my bed, her voice taking on that syrupy tone she used when she wanted something. Ruby, be reasonable. A child needs her real mother. I am her real mother. Her real mother, Alice continued, is the woman who carried her, who felt her kick, who sang to her every night. Layla has been this baby's mother from the moment of conception. Because I couldn't carry her myself, my voice cracked. Because of the endometriosis, because of the scarring from the surgery. You know this. And we're so grateful you gave Layla this gift, Alice said. You can still be part of her life. You can be the rich aunt who spoils her, who takes her on trips. Get out. The words came out as a growl. Ruby? Get out, I screamed, and the machine started going crazy. All of you, get out. Nurses rushed in as my family filed out. Layla was the last to leave, still holding my daughter. She paused at the door. I'm sorry, she whispered, but I love her too much to let her go. The door closed behind them, and I was alone with the beeping machines and the crushing weight of betrayal. That was 10 years ago. 10 years of building my empire while they played happy family with my child. 10 years of missing birthdays, first steps, first words. 10 years of Christmas cards with photos of their perfect little family. I threw myself into work with the fury of a woman who had nothing left to lose. My biotech company, Helix Therapeutics, became one of the most successful gene therapy companies in the world. I made Fortune's 40 under 40 list 3 times. I had patents worth hundreds of millions. But I never forgot. I never forgave. And I never stopped planning. This morning, I was reviewing quarterly reports in my corner office when my assistant knocked. Ms. Ruby, this came for you. No return address. The envelope was thick, expensive paper. Inside was a single sheet with a hospital letterhead and a few typed lines. Cadence Blake, age 10. Diagnosed with Huntington's-like disorder, genetic variant, rapid progression, seeking experimental treatment options. Time sensitive. Below that, in my mother's handwriting, she's dying, Ruby. Please. I set the paper down with steady hands. But inside, something was roaring. My daughter, because she was still my daughter, no matter what papers they'd signed or didn't sign, was dying. and I was the only person in the world who could save her. The gene therapy we'd been developing in secret for the past 3 years was specifically designed for this exact disorder. We were months away from FDA approval, but I could fast-track compassionate use. I could save her life. The question was, would I? I spent the next 3 days digging into everything about Cadence's condition. My head researcher, Brett, pulled the files on our experimental gene therapy, GT47 we called it. The only treatment in existence for this particular genetic nightmare. The protein folding is almost identical to what we've been targeting, Brett said, spreading the lab reports across my desk. But Ruby, this is still months from human trials. The FDA can approve compassionate use in extreme cases, I finished. How extreme are we talking? Brett's face went pale. Without treatment? 6 months? Maybe less? With our therapy? We're looking at potential full remission. 6 months. My daughter had 6 months to live, and I held the only key to saving her. That's when my assistant buzzed in. Ms. Ruby? There's a couple here to see you. They don't have an appointment, but they say it's about a sick child. I almost laughed. Send them in. Layla walked through my office door looking like she'd aged a decade. Her husband Jace followed, his usual cocky swagger replaced by something that looked like desperation. Neither of them recognized me at first. I'd changed my hair, lost weight, traded my old glasses for contacts. Thank you for seeing us, Layla said, her voice shaking. We're here about our daughter. She has this rare genetic condition, and we heard your company might have a treatment. Your daughter, I repeated, leaning back in my chair. Yes, Cadence. She's 10, and she's... Layla's voice broke. She's dying. Jace stepped forward, trying to take control. We've been to every specialist on the East Coast. They all say the same thing. Your experimental therapy is her only shot. And you are? Jace Blake. This is my wife, Layla. Look, we know this is unconventional, but we're willing to pay anything. We've mortgaged the house, liquidated our savings. How much? I asked. Excuse me? How much are you willing to pay for your daughter's life? Layla flinched like I'd slapped her. Whatever it takes. She's our everything. Your everything, I said slowly. Tell me about her. For the next 20 minutes, they painted a picture of my daughter. How she loved to read. How she was brilliant in math. How she wanted to be a scientist when she grew up. How the symptoms started 6 months ago. The tremors, the cognitive decline, the way she'd started forgetting simple words. She asked me yesterday if she was going to die, Layla whispered. What do you tell a 10-year-old who asks that? The truth, I said. Jay shot me a look. That's cold. Even for a CEO. Is it? Or is honesty just something your family struggles with? Before either of them could respond, my office door opened again. My parents walked in without being announced, looking older and more fragile than I remembered. Alice and Troy, I said, not bothering to stand. How nice of you to join us. My mother's eyes widened as recognition finally hit. Ruby? Hello, Mother. The silence in the room was deafening. Layla's face went white. Jace looked confused, glancing between us. You're Ruby Sherman, he said slowly. You're Layla's sister. Was, I corrected. Past tense. Troy stepped forward, his hands shaking. Ruby? We didn't know. We had no idea you were the CEO of the company that could save your granddaughter's life? I smiled, and it felt like ice. Surprise. Alice found her voice first, falling back on old patterns. Ruby, thank God. This is perfect. You can help Cadence, and we can finally... Finally what? Be a family again? I stood up, walking around my desk. After 10 years of silence? After you chose her over me? We didn't choose anyone, Troy said weakly. You chose to let Layla steal my daughter. You chose to support her lies. You chose to cut me out of my own child's life. I looked at each of them in turn.
And now you want my help.
Layla was crying openly now. Ruby, please. I know what we did was wrong, but Cadence is innocent in all this. She doesn't deserve to die because of our mistakes. Our mistakes? I laughed, and the sound was harsh in the quiet office. Your mistakes. I didn't make any mistakes except trusting my own family. Jay stepped protectively in front of Layla. Look, whatever happened between you people, this is about a sick kid. Are you really going to let a child die over some family drama? Some family drama, I repeated. Is that what we're calling it? Ruby, Alice said, her voice taking on that manipulative tone I remembered so well. You're successful now. You've proven your point. But family is family. Blood is thicker than water. I walked back to my desk and picked up Cadence's medical file. You know what's interesting about blood? It carries genetic information, DNA, the kind that proves who someone's real parents are. The room went dead quiet. I'll consider your request, I said finally. But first, I want to hear the whole story, from the beginning. Every detail of how you justified stealing my daughter. Ruby, Layla started. Every detail. I sat back down, folding my hands. You want my help? You're going to tell me exactly how you sleep at night. Sit down, I said, gesturing to the chairs across from my desk. All of you. They sat like scolded children. Alice kept glancing at the door like she wanted to run. Start talking. And don't you dare lie to me. I have resources now. I can verify everything you say. Layla wiped her eyes with a tissue. Ruby, it wasn't planned. When I agreed to be your surrogate, I thought I could handle it. I thought I could just carry her and give her back. But the first time I felt her move, Layla's voice cracked. It was like she was already mine. Every doctor's appointment, every ultrasound, every kick. I fell in love with her, so you decided to steal her. I didn't decide anything, Layla snapped, showing the first spark of her old self. I was terrified. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't imagine handing her over. Jace reached for his wife's hand. I told her she was being ridiculous at first. That a deal was a deal. What changed your mind? I asked him. The miscarriages, he said quietly. We'd been trying for years. 3 miscarriages in 2 years. When Layla got pregnant with your embryo, it was the first pregnancy that stuck. I started thinking, maybe this was meant to be. Meant to be, I repeated. How convenient. Alice leaned forward. Ruby, you have to understand. Layla was devastated by those losses. She was in therapy, on antidepressants. Don't. I held up a hand. Don't you dare try to make this about Layla's mental health. She knew exactly what she was doing. We all knew it was wrong, Troy said suddenly. His voice was barely above a whisper. But when we saw how happy she was, how healthy the pregnancy was going, you decided my happiness didn't matter. You were always so strong, Alice said. So independent. You didn't need us the way Layla did. I needed my daughter. You could have had other children, Alice continued. You're brilliant, successful. You could have found another way. I had endometriosis. I slammed my hand on the desk. That embryo was made from my last viable eggs. There was no other way. The room fell silent. Jace shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Tell me about the day she was born, I said. Tell me about the moment you decided to destroy my life. Layla was sobbing now. When they put her in my arms, I couldn't breathe. She was so perfect, and she looked at me like she knew me, like I was her mother. You weren't her mother. You were her incubator. Ruby, please. Keep talking. What happened next? Troy cleared his throat. We talked about it as a family. The night before you were supposed to take her home. Without me? You were still in the ICU, Alice said defensively. The C-section complications, So you held a family meeting to decide my daughter's fate while I was unconscious. How thoughtful. We were trying to do what was best for everyone, Alice said. What was best for everyone except me. Jace spoke up. Look, I know this sounds bad, but we genuinely believed Cadence would be better off with us. Stable home, 2 parents, financial security. I had financial security. You had a startup that could have failed. We had steady jobs, a house in the suburbs, family nearby. You had my daughter. We gave her a good life, Layla said, her voice rising. She's happy. She's loved. She's dying, I said coldly. And now you need me. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Ruby, Alice said carefully, what do you want from us? The truth. All of it. How did you sleep at night? How did you explain to people why I was never around? What lies did you tell? We told people you were too busy with work, Troy said. That you'd chosen your career over family. And people believe that? You never came to family gatherings, Alice said. You never called, never visited. Because you made it clear I wasn't welcome. Because every time I tried to see her, you found excuses. You could have fought harder, Jace said. You could have taken us to court. I stared at him. I could have destroyed my sister's marriage and traumatized a child in a custody battle. Is that what you wanted? We wanted you to accept reality, Alice said. Cadence was ours. We were her family. And now? They all looked at each other, the weight of their situation finally sinking in. Now we need you, Layla whispered. Yes, I said, leaning back in my chair. You do. The question is, what are you willing to do to get my help? Anything, Troy said immediately. Anything? Yes. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a digital recorder. Then we're going to have a very long conversation, and this time, I want it all on the record. Ruby, what are you— Insurance, I said, hitting record. Now, Layla, I want you to start from the beginning, and I want you to tell the truth about everything. I want to speak to Layla alone, I said, still holding the recorder. The rest of you, out. Ruby, we should all— Alice started. Out. Now. Jace stood up, his jaw tight. I'm not leaving my wife alone with you. Then your daughter dies. I set the recorder on the desk between us. Your choice. Alice grabbed Troy's arm. Come on, let them talk. I'll be right outside, Jace told Layla, shooting me a warning look before following my parents out. The door clicked shut. Layla and I stared at each other across 10 years of silence and betrayal. You look different, she said finally. Success will do that. Ruby, Don't. I hit record on the device. We're doing this my way. State your name for the record. This is insane. State your name. Layla's hands were shaking. Layla Blake. And what was your maiden name? You know what it was. For the record. Layla Sherman. Good. Now tell me about the surrogacy agreement you signed with your sister Ruby Sherman in 2014. Layla closed her eyes. I agreed to carry an embryo created from Ruby's egg and donor sperm. The agreement was that I would carry the baby to term and then surrender all parental rights. And did you honor that agreement? No? Why not? Because— Layla opened her eyes, and they were filled with tears. Because I fell in love with her. Because carrying her for 9 months made her feel like mine. So you stole her. I didn't steal. You took a child that wasn't legally yours and refused to give her back. What would you call that? Layla was quiet for a long moment. Theft, she whispered. Louder. I stole your daughter. And how did our parents react when you told them your plan? They supported me. How? They said Cadence would be better off with me. That I was the real mother because I carried her. Did they encourage you to break the surrogacy agreement? Layla nodded, then caught herself. Yes. They told me I didn't have to give her up if I didn't want to. And what about Ruby? What did they say about her? They said, Layla's voice cracked, they said you were too selfish to be a good mother, that you cared more about your career than about family. Did you believe that? I wanted to believe it. It made what I was doing feel less horrible. I leaned forward. But you knew it wasn't true, didn't you? Yes. You knew I wanted that baby more than anything in the world. Yes. You knew I'd spent years trying to get pregnant, that I'd had surgery, that I'd exhausted every other option. Yes. The word came out as a sob. And you took her anyway. Yes. Why? Layla broke down completely then, her whole body shaking. Because I was empty, Ruby. Because Jace and I had lost 3 babies, and I was dying inside. And when I felt her moving in my belly, it was the first time in years I felt whole. I know it was wrong. I know it was selfish, but I couldn't give up the only thing that made me feel like a real woman. So you destroyed me instead. I thought you'd get over it. I thought you'd move on, find someone, have other kids. With what eggs, Layla? With what uterus? That embryo was my only shot at biological motherhood, and you knew it. I know, and I've regretted it every single day for 10 years. Have you? Because you seemed pretty happy in all those Christmas photos you sent. Layla looked up sharply. You got those? Every year. Pictures of my daughter calling you mommy. Pictures of her first steps, first day of school, birthday parties I wasn't invited to. Ruby, I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry because now you need something from me? Both, Layla admitted. I'm sorry for what I did, and I'm terrified of losing her. Now you know how I felt. I can't lose her, Ruby. She's my whole world. She was my whole world too, but you didn't care about that. Layla wiped her nose with her sleeve. What do you want me to say? That I was a monster? That I ruined your life? Fine. I was, and I did. But please don't punish Cadence for my mistakes. Tell me about the lies you told her about me. What? What does Cadence know about her Aunt Ruby? Layla's face went pale. We told her you were too busy to visit, that you lived far away and worked all the time. Does she know I'm her biological mother? No. Does she know she was conceived through surrogacy? No. So she thinks you're her real mother. I am her real mother, Layla snapped, then caught herself. I mean, I raised her. I've been there for every scraped knee, every nightmare, every moment that should have been mine. Ruby, please, I'll do anything. I'll tell her the truth. I'll sign papers giving up custody. You'll what? Whatever you want. Just save her. I stopped the recording and leaned back in my chair. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Does this mean you'll help her? It means we're just getting started. I let them stew for 3 days. 3 days of no phone calls returned, no emails answered, no updates on Cadence's treatment. My assistant had strict instructions to tell them I was reviewing their case. On Thursday morning, Peyton knocked on my office door. My COO and oldest friend had been with me since the early days, back when we were running the company out of a garage. We need to talk, she said, closing the door behind her. About? About the fact that you're torturing a dying child's family instead of fast-tracking her treatment. I didn't look up from my computer. I'm conducting due diligence. Bullshit. Peyton sat down across from my desk. Ruby, I've known you for 15 years. I was there when your family screwed you over. I held your hair back while you puked from stress during those first few months after. Your point? My point is that this isn't you. The Ruby I know would move heaven and earth to save a sick kid, regardless of personal history. The Ruby you knew was naive enough to trust her own family. The Ruby I know has a heart. I finally looked up. Hearts are liabilities in business. This isn't business. This is a 10-year-old girl who's dying. This is justice. Peyton leaned forward. What's your endgame here? You string them along until the kid dies? Then what? You feel better? You sleep better at night knowing you got your revenge? I sleep fine. When's the last time you went on a date? When's the last time you took a vacation that wasn't work-related? When's the last time you did anything that wasn't about building this company or proving how successful you are? I stood up and walked to the window. I don't have time for this conversation. You don't have time for anything except work and whatever this is. Peyton gestured at the files on my desk, all related to Cadence's case. Ruby, they destroyed you once. Don't let them destroy who you are now. They didn't destroy me. They made me stronger. Did they? Or did they just make you harder? Before I could answer, my assistant buzzed in. Ms. Ruby, Jace Blake is here. He says it's urgent. Send him in. Jace burst through the door looking like he hadn't slept in days. We need to talk. Now. Peyton, give us a minute. Peyton stood up, but paused at the door. Think about what I said. She left, closing the door behind her. Jace started pacing in front of my desk. Cadence collapsed yesterday. She's in the hospital. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Because you've been playing games for 3 days while my daughter gets sicker. Your daughter. Yes, my daughter. I've been her father for 10 years. I've coached her soccer team, helped with homework, scared away boys at the playground. With my DNA. Jace stopped pacing. Look, I know what Layla did was wrong. I know we all screwed up. But if you want to punish someone, punish us. Don't punish her. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm considering your request for compassionate use of an experimental therapy. Considering? She's dying. Lots of children are dying. Should I give the treatment to all of them? You should give it to your own daughter. The words hung in the air between us. Jace realized what he'd said and went pale. My daughter, I repeated slowly. I didn't mean... No, you're right. She is my daughter. Biologically, genetically, legally, she's mine. The question is, why should I save the child that was stolen from me for the people who stole her? Because she's innocent. So was I. Jace sat down heavily in the chair. What do you want? Money? Public apology? What? I want my family to understand what they took from me. We understand. Do you? Do you understand that I missed her first word, her first step, her first day of school? Do you understand that she doesn't even know I exist? She knows you exist. We told her about her Aunt Ruby. Her aunt. I laughed bitterly. Not her mother. Not the woman who gave her life. Her aunt who's too busy to visit. We can fix that. We can tell her the truth. Can you? Can you really? Because that would mean admitting that your entire marriage is built on a lie. That your wife is a thief and you're an accessory. Jace's hands clenched into fists. Don't talk about my wife like that. Your wife stole my child. What would you call her? A woman who made a mistake. A mistake that lasted 10 years. Ruby, please. I'm begging you. Cadence asked about you yesterday. That stopped me cold. What? She asked why Aunt Ruby never visits. She wanted to know if you don't like her. What did you tell her? I told her you're very busy and very important, but that you love her very much. You lied to her again. I told her the truth. You do love her, don't you? I turned back to the window, watching the city below. I don't know her. But you want to. What I want doesn't matter. It never has. It matters now. You hold her life in your hands. Yes, I said quietly. I do. So what's it going to be? Are you going to save her, or are you going to let her die to prove a point? I turned around to face him. I'm going to call a family meeting. All of you. Tomorrow at noon. Ruby, tomorrow at noon. And Jace, bring your checkbook. We're going to discuss terms. They filed into my conference room at exactly noon, looking like they were attending their own funeral. Alice clutched her purse like a shield. Troy kept checking his watch. Jace had dark circles under his eyes, and Layla looked like she'd been crying for days. "Sit," I said, taking my place at the head of the table. "Where's Cadence?" I asked. "With my mother," Layla said quietly. "At the hospital?" "How is she?" "Worse. The tremors are constant now, and she's having trouble speaking." I opened the folder in front of me. "I've reviewed your request for compassionate use of GT-47. I'm prepared to approve it." The relief on their faces was immediate and overwhelming. "Thank you," Alice breathed. "Ruby, thank you so much." "I'm not finished." I pulled out a legal document. "There are conditions." Jace leaned forward. "What kind of conditions?" "First, full public acknowledgement of the truth. Layla will hold a press conference admitting that she stole my biological daughter through surrogacy fraud. Alice and Troy will confirm their role in supporting this theft." "Absolutely not," Alice said immediately. "Our reputation—" "Your reputation?" I laughed. "Your granddaughter is dying, and you're worried about your reputation?" "Ruby, be reasonable," Troy said. "There has to be another way." "There is. You can watch Cadence die." Layla grabbed Jace's hand. "I'll do it. I'll tell everyone the truth." "Layla, no," Alice said sharply. "Think about what this will do to our family, to the church, to hell with the church," Layla snapped. "My daughter is dying." "She's not your daughter," I said calmly. "Which brings me to condition number 2. You will surrender all legal custody and parental rights to me." The room went dead silent. "Ruby," Jace said carefully, "you can't be serious." "I'm completely serious. Cadence is my biological daughter. I want full legal custody." "You can't just take her away from the only family she's ever known," Alice protested. "The way you took her away from me?" "That's different." "How? How is it different?" Layla was shaking. "Ruby, please. I know I don't deserve to be her mother, but she needs stability. She needs to not die. Everything else is negotiable." "What about visitation?" Jace asked. "We've raised her for 10 years. You've had 10 years of stolen time. Now it's my turn." "You're going to traumatize her," Alice said, "ripping her away from her home, her school, her friends." "The way you traumatized me?" Troy spoke up for the first time. "Ruby, what about what's best for Cadence? She doesn't know you. You're a stranger to her. Whose fault is that?" "Ours," Layla said quietly. "It's our fault. But punishing us by taking her away won't fix anything. It's not punishment. It's justice. It's revenge," Jace said. "And you're using a sick child to get it." I stood up and walked to the window. Condition 3. A trust fund of $10 million in Cadence's name, with me as the sole trustee. $10 million? Troy choked. "We don't have that kind of money. Sell the house. Liquidate your retirement accounts. Take out loans. I don't care how you get it." "Ruby, this is insane," Alice said. "You're asking us to destroy our lives. The way you destroyed mine." "We didn't destroy your life. Look at you. You're successful, wealthy, powerful. I'm alone." The words came out louder than I intended. "I'm completely alone because the people who were supposed to love me chose to betray me instead." The room fell quiet. Layla was crying again. "I accept," she whispered. "Layla," Jay started. "I accept all of it. The press conference, the custody, the money, all of it." "We can't afford $10 million, Troy said. "Then we'll figure it out," Layla said. "We'll sell everything, borrow against the business, whatever it takes." "You're talking about financial ruin," Alice said. "And you're talking about letting your granddaughter die," Layla screamed. "How can you even hesitate?" Alice's face crumpled. "Of course we'll do it. We'll find a way." I turned back to face them. There's one more thing. I want to meet her. Before the treatment starts. Ruby, Layla started. I want to meet my daughter. Alone. She's very sick, Jace said. And she doesn't know who you really are. It might confuse her. Then you'll have to figure out how to explain it, won't you? Layla wiped her eyes. When? Today. This afternoon. Ruby? She's in the hospital. I know where she is. I've been monitoring her condition. I sat back down. 2:00. Room 314. You'll introduce me as her Aunt Ruby, and then you'll leave us alone. For how long? As long as I want. They looked at each other, having some silent family conversation. Okay, Layla said finally. But Ruby, please be gentle with her. She's scared, and she's sick, and she's just a little girl. She's my little girl, I said, and it's time I finally met her. Room 314 was smaller than I expected. Cadence lay in the hospital bed, looking impossibly tiny against the white sheets. Her dark hair, my hair, was spread across the pillow, and her hands trembled slightly even in sleep. She had my eyes. Cadence, sweetheart, Layla said softly, touching her shoulder. Someone's here to see you. Cadence opened her eyes and looked at me with curiosity. Are you a doctor? No, honey, Layla said, her voice tight. This is your Aunt Ruby. Remember I told you about her? The one who's too busy to visit? Cadence's voice was slurred, the disease already affecting her speech. I wasn't too busy, I said, stepping closer to the bed. I was just far away. Mom says you're very important. Your mom is right about some things. Layla squeezed Cadence's hand. I'm going to get some coffee. You two can talk. Don't go far, Cadence said, panic flickering in her eyes. I'll be right down the hall, baby. I promise. After Layla left, Cadence and I stared at each other. She looked so much like the baby photos I'd kept hidden in my desk drawer. The ones from the hospital before they took her away. Are you really my aunt? She asked. I'm really your aunt. Why don't you ever visit? Don't you like me? The question hit me like a punch to the chest. I like you very much. It's complicated. Adults always say that when they don't want to tell the truth. Smart kid. You're right. The truth is, your mom and I had a fight a long time ago, and we stopped talking to each other. What did you fight about? You. Cadence's eyes widened. Me? But I was just a baby. You were the most important baby in the world. Am I going to die? The question came out of nowhere, direct and devastating. What makes you ask that? Everyone keeps whispering and crying, and I feel really sick all the time now. My hands shake, and I can't remember words sometimes. I sat down in the chair next to her bed. You're very sick, but there might be a way to make you better. Really? Really. But it's going to be hard, and there are going to be a lot of changes. What kind of changes? I looked at this little girl, my daughter, and felt something crack inside my chest. Cadence, what if I told you that sometimes adults make mistakes? Big mistakes that hurt people? Like when I broke Mom's vase and lied about it. Bigger than that. What if I told you that the fight your mom and I had was because she took something that belonged to me? Cadence frowned, trying to process this. What did she take? The most precious thing in the world. Was it expensive? It was priceless. Did she give it back? No, she kept it for 10 years. Cadence was quiet for a moment, her young mind working. Are you going to make her give it back now? Yes. Is that why you're here? To take it back? I reached out and touched her hand. Her skin was so soft, so warm. What if I told you that what she took was you? Cadence stared at me, confusion and fear flickering across her face. I don't understand. Your mom carried you in her belly, but you came from me, from my body. You're my daughter, Cadence. That's not true. Her voice was small and scared. Mom is my mom. Dad is my dad. They raised you, and they love you. But biologically, genetically, you're mine. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. I want my mom. Cadence, I want my mom. She tried to sit up, but the effort made her shake worse. Mom! Mom! Layla came running back into the room. What's wrong? What happened? She told me I'm not your daughter, Cadence sobbed. She said I belong to her. Layla shot me a look of pure fury. Ruby, what did you do? I told her the truth. She's 10 years old and dying. This isn't the time. When is the time, Layla? When she's 18? When she's 30? When exactly were you planning to tell her that her entire life is a lie? It's not a lie, Cadence cried. You're lying. Mom, tell her she's lying. Layla sat on the edge of the bed and pulled Cadence into her arms. Sweetheart, listen to me. Ruby is telling the truth about the biology. You did grow from her egg. But that doesn't change anything about how much I love you or how much you mean to me. But you're not my real mom. I'm the mom who raised you. I'm the mom who loves you more than anything in the world. That makes me real. Cadence looked between us, her young face twisted with confusion and pain. Why didn't you tell me? Because we were scared, Layla admitted. We were scared you'd be confused or hurt. I am hurt and confused. I know, baby. I know. Cadence looked at me with eyes that were so much like my own. If you're my real mom, why did you give me away? I didn't give you away. She took you. Ruby, stop, Layla warned. No, she deserves to know. Cadence, I wanted you more than anything in the world. I asked your mom, Layla, to help me have you because I couldn't carry you myself. But when you were born, she decided she wanted to keep you instead. So you just let her? The question broke my heart. I tried to get you back, but everyone said you were better off with her. Were they right? I looked at this sick, scared little girl who should have been mine from the beginning. I don't know, but I'm here now. Are you going to take me away from Mom and Dad? Yes. I don't want to go with you. I don't even know you. You will. Cadence buried her face in Layla's shoulder. I want to stay with my real family. I am your real family, I said quietly. And it's time you came home. The press conference was a bloodbath. Layla sat at the podium, her hands shaking as she read from the prepared statement. 10 years ago, I agreed to be a surrogate for my sister Ruby. When the baby was born, I refused to honor our agreement and kept the child as my own. The reporters erupted with questions. Camera flashes went off like lightning. Alice sat in the front row, her face buried in her hands. I stole my sister's daughter, Layla continued, her voice breaking. With the support of my parents, I committed surrogacy fraud and denied Ruby her parental rights. Mrs. Blake, why are you admitting this now? A reporter shouted. Layla looked directly into the camera. Because my daughter, Ruby's biological daughter, is dying, and Ruby is the only person who can save her. The room exploded again. I watched from the back, feeling nothing but cold satisfaction as my family's lies crumbled on live television. The custody hearing was swift. With Layla's public confession and the DNA evidence, the judge had no choice but to grant me full legal custody of Cadence. The trust fund was established. The treatment began immediately. GT-47 worked like magic. Within weeks, Cadence's tremors stopped. Her speech cleared. The cognitive decline reversed. She was going to live, but living in my penthouse apartment, she was miserable. I want to go home, she said for the 100th time, picking at her dinner. This is your home now. This isn't home. Home is with Mom and Dad. Layla and Jace aren't your parents anymore. I am. You're not my mom, she screamed, throwing her fork across the room. You're just the lady who gave me away. I hired the best therapists money could buy. Child psychologists, family counselors. Nothing helped. Cadence cried herself to sleep every night, begging to see Layla. She's traumatized, Dr. Martinez explained during one of our sessions. You've ripped her away from the only family she's ever known. She doesn't understand why. She'll adjust. Ruby, she's not adjusting. She's getting worse. The depression, the anxiety attacks, she just needs time. She needs her family. I am her family. But even as I said it, I knew it wasn't true. I was a stranger to her. A stranger who destroyed her world to get revenge on mine. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night. I found Cadence in her room, holding a photo of Layla and Jace. I miss them, she whispered. They lied to you your whole life. They loved me my whole life. I sat down on her bed. I love you too. No, you don't. You love the idea of me. You love winning. But you don't know me. The words hit harder than any physical blow. That's not true. What's my favorite color? I opened my mouth, then closed it. What's my favorite food? What am I afraid of? What makes me laugh? Tears streamed down her face. You don't know anything about me because you never tried to know me. You just wanted to own me. Cadence, I hate you, she said quietly. I hate you for taking me away from my real family. I hate you for making Mom cry on TV. I hate you for ruining everything. I left her room and called Peyton. She's right, I said when Peyton arrived. About everything. Ruby, I destroyed them to get her back, but I never thought about what that would do to her. She doesn't want to be saved by me. She wants to be saved for them. So what are you going to do? I looked at the custody papers on my desk. All legal, all binding, all meaningless if they were destroying the child I'd fought so hard to save. I'm going to do something I should have done 10 years ago. What's that? Put Cadence first. The next morning I drove Cadence to Layla's house. She hadn't lived there since losing custody, but she was staying with her mother-in-law nearby. Why are we here? Cadence asked. Because you're right. I don't know you. And the people who do know you, who love you, who've been your family for 10 years, they're not your enemies. They're mine. I knocked on the door. Layla answered, her face swollen from crying. Ruby? What? I'm bringing her home. What? Not permanently, but for visits. Supervised at first, then overnight, then weekends. Whatever the court approves. Layla's knees buckled. Are you serious? I'm keeping legal custody. The trust fund stays. But Cadence needs her family. Her real family. The people who raised her. Cadence ran past me into Layla's arms. Mom, baby girl, Layla sobbed, holding her tight. I missed you so much. I watched them together and felt something I hadn't felt in 10 years. Peace. Ruby, Layla said, looking at me over Cadence's head. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We're going to have to figure out how to co-parent, how to rebuild trust, how to be a family again. All of us. I looked at Cadence, who was watching me with cautious hope. All of us, I said. It's going to be messy and complicated, and probably impossible. But we'll try? We'll try. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's refusing to let them destroy you. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it's finding a way to build something better from the wreckage they left behind. My daughter was alive. My family was broken but healing. And for the first time in 10 years, that felt like enough.